Masters Union is a unique idea.
Masters Union differs from the conventional MBA programs.
It's not classroom instruction.
If you look at medical schools, doctors actually teach students how to be a doctor. But in business schools, since it's an academic program, what happens is that people are rewarded for publications and research.
Interactions with people with experience in different facets of life.
I find that the program is as close to real life as possible.
It involves faculty that is drawn from a fairly wide group of professionals.
The educational experience is going to be shaped by internship opportunities.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Moneycontrol. I'm Sakshi Batra and today we will be discussing about the changing landscape of business education. Joining me to share insights on this is Mr. Pratham Mittal, Project Director, Masters Union School of Business, a new age business school offering industry immersive business education by top industry leaders and practitioners. Welcome to Moneycontrol, Pratham. It's great to have you with us today on this show. Well, Pratham, we are discussing this at the backdrop of COVID-19 outbreak, an unprecedented crisis which has had a deep impact on the economies around the world. It has also disrupted trade, supply chains, investment flows, and also business strategies and plans worldwide. It is in times like these that business leaders, thought leaders, flag bearers of India Inc. are reimagining the business landscape. What is also key to understand is that the next generation entrepreneurs are equipped with the knowledge of innovation in the times of disruption such as these, and are also quick to adapt to the fast changing needs of the world. Let me then begin by asking you to share with us your thoughts on the changing landscape of business education in India with the years.
Education landscape in India, or specifically the business education landscape in India, I don't believe has changed much over the last few decades. IIMs have always sort of been leading the pack. We have had, of course, ISB come in the last few years and sort of shake things up a little bit. But beyond that, not much has changed. Perhaps at a pedagogical level, we have seen some advancement, coming in the form of case analysis method, sort of creeping its way into most of the classrooms now. But still, I think we have a long way to go. I'm sure we'll cover this later in the interview, but the education landscape really has to change by bringing in more practitioners by bringing in more technological education into the business classroom. So there are lots of things that need to change that haven't changed, and I believe the evolution is yet to happen. I wouldn't say that India is lagging behind anyway, because I feel the issues or the gaps in business education exist even at the top business schools of the world. So I was fortunate enough to go to University of Pennsylvania that hosts the Wharton School of Business. And there as well, I did so many classes there as well. I saw that, there is still lots of gaps. So I think India has a great opportunity to, fill those gaps and really sort of be the trailblazer when it comes to business education around the world.
Right. Pratham, also share with us what, according to you, is unique about Masters Union School of Business. Let's hear more about the Masters.
Masters Union School of Business is sort of rethinking the way a business school is structured and built, right? So there are three ways that, we'll touch upon today to talk about how it's different from, let's say, an IIM or like any other business school in the country. The first core difference is that the professors who are teaching inside the classroom are not academic professors only. They are practicing professors or practicing professors. These are people who have been MDs, CEOs, or even members of parliament in some cases, right? So these are the kinds of professors who are coming into the classroom and teaching. And when they come into the classroom and teach, they teach in a very different way, as you can very well imagine, right? They teach in a very hands-on way. They teach from their stories and they teach from real cases that they have themselves faced. To give you an example of some of the professors who are teaching, point two is that, when you have these practicing professors coming into the classroom, the way they conduct a class is very hands-on, as I said, right? So they are teaching not in the, age-old, cookie-cutter lecture format. When they come into the classroom, they bring in activities, they bring in workshops, they bring in guest lectures, they bring in consulting projects, right? And that's how the classroom is just a very different experience altogether. Point three is the location, right? We've actually decided to build our campus in the middle of a business district, right? In our case, it's Gurgaon. So we actually share our campus with the largest MNCs, right? So Bank of America is in the same building as we are, right? BCG is in the same building as we are. Nielsen is in the same, Gartner is in the same building as we are. So when innovation and perhaps the recruiters themselves are in the same building as the education institute, I think that can enrich a student's experience altogether, right?
Also, Pratham, enhancing business education with technology at its core is the need of the hour. What are your views on this?
Point is that every business role of the future will have a data component and a technology component inherently attached with it, right? So for example, in the yesteryear, you couldn't have a business graduate with an understanding of math, right? Obviously. But today you cannot have a business graduate who doesn't have an understanding of technology and data science, right? It's inherent, it's important, it's intrinsic almost to the role. And so that's where Masters Union comes in. So what we have done is that we have created these boot camp courses, which account for almost 25% of all curriculum. And these are boot camp courses in specific technologies, right? So when students graduate, they graduate with having done 6 or 7 boot camps in things like AI, in machine learning, in cryptocurrencies, in blockchain, in actual programming, right? So the MBA that, the students who will be doing PGP MBA at Masters Union will actually graduate with a programming prowess, right? And so I think that is incredibly central to how they will perform later in the industry. The second thing is research, right? What's happening these days is there's a lot of new research happening inside the laboratories across the world, right? So for example, there's the Bell Labs in Chicago. What they have, the research that they're doing in genetics and in electronics is mind-boggling completely. But what happens is that research gets constrained and restrained to the journals where they are published. They never actually see the light of the day. So what we have done is we have set up 5 centers of research, right? Business research, where students will be tasked with going into these journals, uncovering the research and trying to create business models out of this research, right? So let's say some scientist in Serbia comes up with some new, let's say 6G technology. The job of the research center is to decode that journal, is to decode that research and create business models out of it, right? That can either be used by the students themselves to create their new companies, or perhaps by the larger community, because we'll be publishing those research outcomes on our website, right? So these are the 2 ways we are bringing in technology education into an MBA program, right? And without this, I think no MBA is complete.
Right. Now, Pratham, what is your outlook over the next 5 years? What is the way forward from here?
That's a great question, Sakshi. So I think what we're trying to do right now is find our footing, is to build our brand in the country. And we'll see, we'll take it year by year and we'll see where we end up. But the vision right now is to create around 5 such institutions within the realm of business, and a total of 12 such institutions in other departments as well, right? So we are starting with a business school in Gurgaon. Our second campus might be a school of computing in Bangalore that espouses the same philosophies that we spoke about, which is, practicing people coming in and teaching hands-on classes, and establishing in the middle of the relevant district, right? So the second, as I said, might be a school of computing in Bangalore. A third one might be a school of law in, central Delhi next to the Supreme Court. The fourth one might be a school of advanced finance in Bombay, let's say, right? So that's the idea, is to create a distributed university that has all these different paradigms and these departments, but spread across the country wherever they're most relevant to be situated. Education is ripe for disruption. We need to change the way India educates.
Well, many thanks, Pratham, for being with us today on Moneycontrol. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. Especially business schools across the globe are likely to witness rebooting of the management education in the next few years now. And this new era, which will be in sync with Industry 4.0, which also needs a remarkable shift with the way the next business leaders are groomed. Many thanks for joining us on this very special show.